Welcome to the Mould Doctor Property Manager's information video. The purpose of this video is to assist you, the property manager, of how to deal when a renter reports a mould infestation at a property you manage. You can watch at a time that suits you, download, share with your colleagues, and look back on this whenever a renter reports mould. With mould and its dangers being a hot topic in the print, radio, and TV media, we are finding renters are far more educated and nervous when it comes to mould and its health hazards, and the importance of remediating in the shortest possible time frame. There is nothing worse than picking up the phone and discovering it's one of your renters with a mould problem. The first thing to do is not to ask the renter to clean this themselves. With mould being so well reported, you need to make sure that you allow a professional service like us here at the Mould Doctor to professionally investigate, report and treat the mould to ensure it is a quick, stress-free solution for you, your renter and the owner. If you send a quote request through to us, we have a number of dedicated client services team members who will be happy to schedule an initial inspection directly with yourself or the renter, where the technician will inspect the home and report on all visible mould infestations throughout. The great news is this service is free and without obligation. You can be rest assured that all the Mould Doctor technicians have been highly trained to not only report on the mould infestation and causation, but to also know that at this part of the process, you are our customer. And our task is to politely deflect any questions the renters may have regarding the mould. Our technicians are trained to advise the renters that because you have organised the inspection, you will be receiving the detailed report. And if the renter has any questions, then they should contact you to discuss after our attendance. We will never disclose the details of the report to the renter without your permission. We will do everything possible to contact the renters within 2 days via an SMS, advising that their property manager has requested an inspection and report. And the scheduling team will contact the renter via email with you CC'd in on all appointment offers, so you can keep your owner updated on the progress of the mould investigation. Within the report, you'll see photos, information regarding the causation, treatment and preventative recommendations, and a quote for eliminating the mould and preventative options for you and the landlord to consider. Generally speaking, mould occurs from condensation, lack of ventilation, or moisture ingress from building or plumbing defects. So we take moisture and humidity readings and check for any obvious building defects that may have allowed moisture ingress, as mould needs a food source to grow: moisture. If there is no visible mould and your renter has reported a musty or damp odour, we're able to complete a decontamination fogging at the time of inspection or take air samples for testing at a low cost to your owner. The air samples are taken for analysis by the microbiologists at AEML Laboratory, and you will receive a detailed report from the microbiologist that includes the mould species and the total spore count found. Based on the results of the findings, if mould and spores are present, a quotation will be provided with treatment and preventative options. Once you have received the report and quote, we do not move forward with any treatments until approval is given. Once we receive your approval, the scheduling team will confirm a day and time with the renter and advise you accordingly. The renter will receive a pre-treatment information sheet that includes information regarding the treatment process, why they need to vacate the home, and to ensure furniture is moved away from walls from areas that have visible mould. So how does our treatment work? Treatment includes a unique two-step mould remediation process. In step 1, we remove all visible mould and microclean the area with a unique product formula that can penetrate all hard surfaces, that in most cases will remove mould stains. However, if mould has been painted over or paint is defective, some staining may remain. In most cases, post-treatment painting is not required unless the paint is cracked and peeling. However, mould in grout and silicon cannot be treated and needs to be replaced. Step 2. Whenever there is visible mould, there are always invisible mould spores present in the air. These spores can move freely around the house. Because of this, once we remove the visible mould, the entire living space is fogged to eliminate all species of airborne mould spores, bacteria, and chemical VOCs. The fogging process is best described as the spreading of a very fine mist similar to the steam created during a hot shower. During this process, we can remove and dispose of mould-affected carpet, skirting board, smooth edge, plaster and underlay. We will advise you within our original report if this is required and recommend you engaging a trade to replace this once we have completed our treatment. Unfortunately, we are unable to treat carpet, blinds, curtains, grout and silicon, popcorn ceilings, motor vehicles and wet areas, but we will tell you this within our original report. On completion of the treatment, we will forward you a post-treatment report with before and after photos and outline any further recommendations for your owner to consider on ways to prevent the mould from returning. Our fogging product has been developed by a chemical engineer and chartered scientist Australian chemist who has specialised in air quality solutions for 30 years. The fogging product is produced under licence and is exclusive to the Mould Doctor. We are often asked, is the fogging process harmful to furniture, children or animals? The simple answer is no. It is non-hazardous and has been extensively tested as such by the microbiology department at Monash University in Melbourne. Notwithstanding this, we do ask that the property is vacated during treatment, as a 2-hour containment period is always required to ensure bacteria is eliminated when the technician leaves the premises. Even if mould is visible in only one room, we do fog the entire house, as the spores will easily spread into the entire living space. If the entire dwelling is not fogged, then the mould may return in the other rooms under the right conditions. The mould remediation won't harm any contents. You can even leave the fruit bowl out if you want. There are over 100,000 different species of mould, all different colours and varieties. Our processes will eliminate all of them. Over the last 15 years, the Mould Doctor fogging process has eliminated mould in more than 65,000 domestic and commercial properties, including schools, aged care facilities, hospitals, police stations, and apartment complexes. Although it can be difficult managing a rental property, mould is a serious issue with serious health effects for those living within the property and should not be taken lightly. By treating only the symptoms, in other words, the mould infestation, and not the cause, which could be high humidity, moisture ingress, building defects, etc., the mould is likely to return and will cause long-term issues for all parties. By trusting the Mould Doctor and following all of our treatment and preventative recommendations, your owner's asset is guaranteed for 12 months from mould returning to the areas treated professionally by us. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty of mould, and why is it all of a sudden happening now? Who is at fault? Who is to blame? There are many variables regarding mould causation, and most are not linked to the renters. Many old and new properties alike have building defects, allowing moisture ingress, which can be as simple as blocked gutters or a leaking pipe, defective paintwork, no ventilation system in the bathroom, and so on. There is also a massive problem with condensation in properties, particularly apartments during the cooler months. The condensation elevates the humidity. When humidity exceeds 55%, the conditions are ideal for mould to grow. High rainfall and cold weather will exacerbate this. Modern apartments are required by law to be extremely well sealed against air ingress from the outside. The Building Code of Australia requires all new apartments to have airtight seals around doors, windows and other openings into the building to minimise the requirement to heat and cool apartments. the Building Commission has stated that with the installation and use of exhaust apartment, residents will shower, cook, and wash and dry clothes. All these activities produce moisture, which is exhausted to the outside by bathroom or kitchen exhaust fans. These should be of good working order and able to be run for an extended period after use by using a run-on timer. In fifth, as the built-in heater elevates, move condensation after the fire, actually tray and able to be tipped outside or down the sink. We recommend desiccant dehumidifiers in the selective during laundry mode. At times, when
Melbourne, we've got 4 offices.
This will cause long-term issues.
Yeah, so we're a part of Barry Plan Easton Group, a little over 7,000 properties currently under management across all of Melbourne. We've got 4 office locations, being the Eltham, the Whitehorse, Manningham offices. However, we also are soon to be opening up an Ivanhoe office as well. Been dealing with John from the Mould Doctor for a little over 10 years now. We've used him as our preferred mould partner to assist us with all of our mould issues across all the rental properties that we're managing. Service has been exceptional. We're really happy with the service that they're providing us. We're really happy with their detailed reports, in particular outlining exactly where the cause of the mould issue occurs at the property, which is really important when we're trying to dissect, is the mould issue caused by a home issue, which is the owner's responsibility, or is it a matter that there could be misuse of the property by the tenant, which is then the tenant's responsibility. I think the best thing is similar to the detailed reports, but also the level of service. John's always contactable if there's any issues that you have with the report or need a further understanding or need further clarification for one of our landlords. John's happy to have a chat with the owners for us, but also happy to have a conversation with the property manager to give a full detailed explanation in relation to what the issue is and how we can move forward. There may not physically be mould there at the property, but the tenant may believe that there's mould at the property. It's a really quick call to the mould doctor. It's a free quote for them to go out there, advise what the situation is, how they can actually resolve it. But with that, we can also determine whose responsibility that is. But it's a no-brainer.
To request an inspection or for more details, our client services team will be delighted to hear from you. Please give us a call on 1300 944 595. Or go to our website, themouldDoctor.com.au, or email info@themouldDoctor.com.au.